The Turk was a marvelous fighter. He wouldn't surrender. A German would in those positions. As soon as we got near to him, he'd put his hands up, but not the Turk.
Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace.
A gentleman in every particular form of fighting. We admired him tremendously and we became very great friends.
After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well.
I was amongst the very, very early ones to land on Gallipoli. We just went ashore and we looked for Turks. Here we were on our own, we were Australians. And that's why Anzac to me is so important, and it's important to Australia. We became a nation the day we landed on Gallipoli.
We have Remembrance Day, poppies in the Flanders fields and the Remembrance. It's on November 11th. We also have, like I've said, Vimy Ridge, which is just, we don't have a day commemorating it.
The Turks were extremely fortunate to be led by Kemal Ataturk, one of the great soldiers of all time. To put spine in his men, he said these words: "I'm not asking you to fight for your country, I'm commanding you to die for your country."
Wow.
These later words of Kemal's, they are words of reconciliation, and they are meant for us. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. Ataturk, 1934.
Holy shit, that's powerful. Man, those are words I could think all day on. That brought so many images to mind.
The acronym ANZAC, ANZAC, stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, whose soldiers became known as Anzacs.
That's really cool. I first of all, I didn't know it was an acronym. Second of all, that's what they were known as at the time, Anzacs. That's really cool. That's already picking up some pretty awesome history here.
The Anzac Day ceremony was first begun by a chaplain, David Garland. He joined the Australian Army as a chaplain to the soldiers. Garland witnessed the horrors of war and the suffering of the soldiers. And by January 1916, the first Anzac Day was celebrated in Brisbane, Queensland.
I find that really awesome that it was one man's idea to have this day as commemorated. I really wish we did that for Vimy Ridge here.
Garland established public war memorials and initiated Anzac ribbons, which were sold to provide funds to build the war memorials and for the upkeep of soldiers' graves.
On Remembrance Day and the week leading up to it, everybody, well, not everybody, if you want to call yourself a Canadian, don't bother if you're not going to wear a poppy between the 1st and the 11th of November. Do you guys wear poppies as well?
Garland also lobbied for Anzac Day to become a public holiday in all the states, and this was achieved in Australia by 1930.
Amazing. Amazing. Of course, we have Family Day. That's a recognized holiday in Canada. But not Vimy Ridge. Not even Remembrance Day. Still got to go to work on Remembrance Day. It's not a holiday. You guys got this one right.
And this guy here, this is the most gentlemanly, bad motherfucker I've learned about in a long time.
Can you become friends and admire a woman who's doing his best to kill you?
Well, we were doing our best to kill him too, weren't we? It was a war of nations, not of individuals.
How did you feel at that time?
I didn't feel anything except that he was an enemy. He wasn't an individual in any shape or form. He was there to protect Gallipoli, and we were there to take it.
I think that generation was so hard because of what the world experienced as a human race. Old guys like this, like he doesn't, it's not that, he's probably talked about it a million times. It can't be just, you know, we just did it and that's what was to us, maybe at the time. I wonder in the quiet times in this guy's life, sitting by a fire by himself with no one around, how many times he just broke into tears over what he did, over what he saw, over what. How many people got to the front who lied about their age to fight? And I'm not taking anything away from their their bravery and their courage. What I'm saying is, how many people who had those wide-eyed, the adventure of going away to war. I got goosebumps just thinking about what would have been running through people's heads when they got to that last trench. Who was it wrote? Martin Luther King. It's not about a choice between violence and nonviolence. It's a choice between nonviolence and non-existence.
We're happy to be in Australia. I'm proud to be in Australia. And whilst I'd be able to do it, I'd be prepared to defend it. I think Anzac Day is marvelous.
So yeah, Anzac Day. Man, I watched a lot of powerful stuff. A lot of stuff that made me reminisce about, my own country's history at Vimy Ridge and Dieppe. Vimy Ridge because of the kind of the binding in of what ingredients were there into a nation, officially for the first time. Anzac Day and Vimy Ridge, for me, have that in common. And the loss, the loss of human life. I mean, man, Australia and Canada have so much in common. God, I really hope I get there someday. I really hope I get there. In Flanders fields the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be it yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not weep, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.